is the empowered heart. Do you think she's got one or what? Yeah, incredible music, Susan. We are so honored to have you here. So the theme for the month is empowerment. And the theme for today is your empowered heart. And of course, you know, we've got the heart with the weights here, working out. And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. Now, is there anybody here who has ever had their heart broken? Okay, I know that's a silly question. I should be saying, is there anybody here who has never had their heart broken? And I doubt if a single hand would go up. Because heartbreak seems to be part of this life of ours. I mean, do you remember when you were an adolescent and you thought you would die when that boy or girl that you were so in love with didn't love you back? Yeah, heartbreak. Or when that trusted adult in your life violated you and made you just lose all of your trust. Heartbreak. Or what about when you see one of your kids or your grandkids or one of the kids in the news that is suffering and you can't do anything about it? Heartbreak doesn't get much worse than that. Absolutely. Or when we see the desperate families from South America that are coming to our southern border and sometimes being imprisoned just because they want a safe place to live. Heartbreak. It seems that heartbreak is a part of this human existence that we have. I mean, it's a human experience, but it's one that we all experience. And it would be kind of silly to pretend that we never experience it, because our hearts are so precious and they are made to feel. But you know, that's the human realm. There's also this divine realm that we are part of, that we are created from. And on the divine level, there is a part of you that has never been hurt, has never been broken, has never been violated, has never been betrayed. That's the part of you that is living forever, forever and ever. That was you before you were born into this physical form, and that will be you after you pass out of this physical form. Now, I think that the thing we call God or source or life or intelligence, I think it wants to, and you've heard me say this before, I think it wants to experience absolutely everything. And because of that, it has given us choice. We get to choose in our lives what we'll think about, how we'll act, what we'll say, and everything about our life is, well, a lot of things about our life are absolutely up to us. And then, and this is the part that's sometimes a little tricky, then we get to live with the consequences. Then we get to live with the consequences. It reminds me of a method of parenting called love and logic. And in love and logic, kids, even when they're very, very small, they're given the chance to make choices. They're given the chance to make mistakes. It might be that a little one says, I don't want to wear a jacket outside. I don't want to wear a jacket in the snow. And in this method of parenting, the parents would say, okay, go outside without a jacket, you know? And then the kid learns to come back in and get a coat. So we learn through our consequences just like kids do. Just like kids do. As humans and humanity, we are making choices individually and as a whole. And that is what is making a difference in our world. If I choose to be stingy and withhold my prosperity and my love from other people, withhold my caring, I'm probably going to end up bitter and alone. And if you choose to move through the day smiling at everyone you see, having a positive attitude and opening your heart, sharing bits of your heart with others, you will probably end up with a life that is loving and caring and connected to others. Connected to others. So we get to choose. And because God wants to be everything, and because humanity is part of the way that God experiences everything, some interesting things happen in life. Have you noticed? Some definitely interesting things happen. So what is an empowered heart? How can we empower our hearts? And how can our empowered hearts make a difference in the world? An empowered heart is a heart that's not afraid to feel the good stuff and the interesting stuff. I mean, interesting stuff sounds better than bad stuff, right? Yeah. An empowered heart is not afraid to feel the interesting stuff and the bad stuff. It's being willing to feel the sadness and of injustice and hard-heartedness. It's being able to trust that even though there are things happening in the world that are not done from a place of loving and kindness and caring, that absolutely we are here to do things differently. We are here to respond without hate, without malice, and to come to respond with a place of love. I've kind of forgotten about these. Yeah. Okay. An empowered heart is a heart that remembers its oneness with Source. It's a heart that remembers its light. It's a heart that remembers that at a very basic level, we are all connected. The same life runs through all of us. And an empowered heart is a heart that is connected to Spirit. We connect with our spiritual practices, with our prayers, with our meditations, with our walks in nature, with whatever it is that reminds us of that power and that connection that is available for us. Now, Ken Gordon, who is the spiritual leader of the whole organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, tells a story about one day he hears his wife, Reverend Deborah, screaming from the other room. And so he rushes in to see if she's okay, and she's sitting in front of her computer, and it's in the Science of Mind magazine this month. She's sitting in front of her computer and just panicked. Her screen is blank. I mean, it's absolutely black. Now, he can tell, maybe she's a little dramatic, but he can tell that she is afraid that her whole life has just disappeared with the blackness of that screen. But they have a computer angel. I mean, aren't computer angels wonderful? So Ken goes and he calls the computer angel, and the computer angel says, well, first of all, check to see if it's plugged in. Now, isn't that what they always say? Yes. Check to see if it's plugged in. And he thinks, well, that's ridiculous. It is always plugged in. I mean, we don't move the computer. It is always plugged in. But he says, okay, I'll go check. So he goes and checks, and sure enough, lo and behold, the plug has come out of the wall somehow. Now, I don't know what the explanation for that was, but he plugged it back in, and then once again, she was connected. Now, there was always electricity there, but the computer couldn't use the electricity unless it was plugged in. Well, it's the same with us, folks. It is absolutely the same with us. If we don't stay plugged into Spirit, if we don't stay plugged into the possibilities that are open for us, if we don't stay plugged in through whatever way we connect with the divine, then we don't get to use that power. We don't get to let that love flow through us. We don't get to let our hearts open and be empowered. And an empowered heart knows that the best is yet to come. Whatever has transpired in our lives in the past, we know in this teaching that we can change the trajectory of our lives by changing our thoughts, by changing our perceptions, by changing the way we put our thoughts and our perceptions into action in our life, by changing what we do with all of that. Eugene Holden said, and he writes every month in the Science of Mind magazine. He does the personal affirmations. They are always incredibly inspiring. We have Science of Mind magazines on the table in the lobby. So we encourage you, if you don't get that, to pick up a copy and ideally leave a donation for that. He says, nurturing your consciousness is cultivating the awareness that life has more in store for you to be, do, and have. As you cultivate this awareness, you naturally empower yourself to create the marvelous life you came here to live. Life has more in store for me to be, do, and have. Say that with me. Life has more in store for me to be, do, and have. What if that was really true? What if you went out today and this week and lived from a place of absolutely knowing that life has more in store for you? Absolutely. An empowered heart is a heart that chooses peace. Because no matter what the circumstances, bless you, no matter what the circumstances, we always have at our disposal the opportunity to choose peace. There can be chaos all around us, but if we can settle into our hearts and remember that there is a place, the candles represent this divine flame, this spark of godness that is within each of us, that we can call on for peace, that we can absolutely call on for peace. So we can empower our hearts by recognizing that we are at choice, and by choosing to be guided and led from our heart and in all that we do and in all that we say. Now, we don't want to just use our heart and not think at all, though, you know? It's so important for us to use our heart in conjunction with our intellect and with our wisdom, because those two are gifts from God, and those two are ways that Spirit directs us and guides us. And we can empower our hearts by being willing to be honest and real, and by being willing to live in the present moment, not being lost in the past, not being worried about the future, but living in the present moment, noticing that, right here and now, all is well. Right here and right now, all is well. And then we experience the next moment, and the next, and the next. These hearts of ours are made to choose, and they're made to feel. They're absolutely made to choose compassion, to feel love, to choose what it is that we want to experience, and then to walk forward in that. We can do that by setting our intentions for the day in the morning, basically saying, okay, this day Spirit goes before me to make the crooked places easy, to make the crooked places blissful, insist on bliss. I liked that in that song. You know, we have the opportunity in each day to insist on bliss. So I'm going to walk through this day in bliss. Just watch me, you know, whatever comes up. You can make the same choice. But these hearts are made to feel. It's the most natural thing in the world for us to feel sadness when people we care about are hurting. It's the most natural thing in the world for us to feel joy when things are happy around us, and when we see the goodness and the blessings of the divine all around us. It's the most natural thing in the world to break out in a big smile when you see kids or animals playing. Some of those videos on YouTube of the animals, you just can't help but smile. That's one of our natural reactions. The most natural reaction of the world to feel excited and grateful when somebody is celebrating a marriage or a graduation, when somebody is celebrating getting the job of their dreams, or waking up with their beloved each morning and feeling so blessed, so blessed. Our hearts are made to feel. So think about your heart. You may even want to put your hand over your heart. As you go through your days, is your heart feeling joy and gratitude and connection? Or is your heart noticing complaints, things that other people should fix, things that are going wrong? What is the flavor of your heart as you go through your days? And is it what you would like it to be? An empowered heart, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What difference would it make, living from your heart, in how you relate to your loved ones, your family? What difference would it make in how you relate to those people who challenge you, if there happen to be any of those in your life? What difference would this open heart make? This heart that's willing to connect as you move through your days. What difference would it make in our world? I want to talk to you for just a minute. This is going to be a short little thing, but I want to tell you some truths that you may have forgotten about yourself. Feel free to close your eyes if you would like to. Won't take very long. Right here, right now, there is a spark within you that is divine. There's a place that's beyond fear, beyond resentment, beyond grief. It's a place of love. And you can choose to live from this place, to be guided by your heart, to choose the love that you want to see in the world. Your truth is that you are a divine essence. You are here to be joyful. You are here to insist on bliss. You are here to make a difference in your world. You are powerful. That, my dears, is the truth about who you are. Not the whole truth, for there is so much more, but that is the truth of who you are. As Reverend Leah said last week, we can always ask, what would love do? What would love do? Now, that's not saying that everything in the world is okay. That's not saying that there aren't things that need to be changed and that need to be up-leveled and that we want to see being much better in the world. It's not just saying, oh, love is all there is. Love is all there is, and we are always a choice. We can feel passionate without being hateful and angry. I mean, we see that a lot in the public sphere, that often there are those people who are just screaming, absolutely screaming. We don't need to be all hateful and roiled up inside in order to make a difference in the world. In fact, if we're working for peace from a place of hate, from a place of despising all of those people that we want to fix, we're bringing more of that energy in than we are the energy of peace. Because how we do things is what we are bringing to the world. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said it this way: darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. We can work for peace. We can work for equality. We can work for change without hating, without putting that negative energy out there. We can do that by absolutely being guided by our heart, by remembering that humanity is evolving. And this is a process, folks. We are obviously not there yet. Humanity is evolving, and we are part of that evolution. We have come here to be the change that we want to see in the world, each one of us. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "Find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of their soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being. Find me one person who no longer has any fear of the universe or of God or of man or of anything else, and you will have brought to me someone in whose presence we may sit, and fear shall vanish as clouds before the sunlight. Find me someone who has redeemed their own soul, and they shall become my redeemer. Find me someone who has given all that they have in love, and I will have found the lover of my soul. Is not this true? Why? Because they will have revealed to me the nature of God and proved to me the possibility of all human souls." By empowering our hearts, we can be better versions of ourselves. By empowering our hearts, we can be better lovers. We can be better partners. We can be better family members. We can be better parents. We can be better employees or employers. We can be better volunteers. We can be better neighbors. By empowering our hearts and tuning into that place of love and allowing ourselves to live from that place, allowing that place to live through us, we can absolutely be better versions of ourselves. God, the Spirit of life, is alive in absolutely every cell of our being. And I think most of us often think about the heart, our heart, being that center place of love, that center place of power, that center place of wisdom and grace, that spark of the divine that we can see in lots of different places. Our lives, yours and mine, are empowered as we take time to connect with the divine. Because it's really, I don't know if we can live from this place of love unless we're taking time to absolutely connect with the love of the divine that is here for us always. And the guidance of the divine. Anybody here who would like a little more guidance in your life? Oh, one. Oh, two. Okay, that's enough. Yeah. Guidance is here for us. You know, all we have to do is ask. You can use whatever words you want, but it could be something like, "Okay, God, what now? Okay, what am I supposed to say? What can I do that will be good for everyone concerned? How can I relate? How can I share?" And then, you know, as soon as we ask for that guidance, in the same breath, in the same second, in the same moment, we can give gratitude for that guidance as well. Now, that requires trust. We can say, okay, God, Spirit, intelligence, life, whatever, I recognize that right now you are giving me the guidance I need, and I am grateful. I am grateful because I know it is happening in the perfect time and the perfect way. As we ask, we can also give thanks, living in that place of gratitude. Because when we call on God, when we expect the divine to respond to us, it does. But if we're pretty washy about it, not so much. Yeah, not so much. So we ask, and then we listen with our eyes open and our hearts open and our minds wide open. And sometimes the messages, the guidance we need come in that still small voice. Sometimes they come a lot louder than that. Sometimes they show up on billboards or in songs. Sometimes they come up in just crazy ideas that pop into our minds that we don't know where they came from. Those are answers. Those are guidance for us. And so we can absolutely trust that when we ask for guidance from the divine, when we can sincerely give thanks for it because we know it is ours, then absolutely the universe responds in the perfect time and the perfect way. Now, if you have not yet tried that, then this would be your homework, okay? If you've not tried that, asking for guidance when you want it, and then opening up and giving thanks that it is already yours, if you haven't yet tried that, this is your homework, folks. But for now, let's say our affirmation together again. I am led, guided, and empowered by the Spirit of life within me, and I am grateful. Once more, I am led, guided, and empowered by the Spirit of life within me, and I am grateful. And with that, I invite all practitioners to stand in high consciousness as we move into prayer. Right here, right now, we open our hearts. We allow the power that is naturally in our hearts to flow through. We allow it to flow through as love, as connection. We allow it to flow through as guidance, as compassion. And so as we go forth this week, we absolutely are blessed. We awaken each day insisting on bliss. We move through this day, each day knowing that Spirit, the universe, life is for us. It has more for us to be, do, and have. It has great plans for us. Plans that we get to make because we make them with our choices, with what we decide to think, how we decide to act, who we decide to reach out to, how we decide to care for ourselves. And so I absolutely know that we move forward with empowered hearts, that each one is led and guided to the perfect way to open to greater joy, greater love, greater abundance and prosperity, greater experience and expression of the divine. And so as we do this, we know that we evolve humanity. We know that humanity is all of us put together, that we are on this journey to enlightenment, that we are here for God to experience everything. And so I absolutely know that each one here is blessed, that each one here is a blessing. And so we go forth, and that is the truth that we live from. It is ours, it is powerful, it is done, I am grateful, and so it is.